Friends, welcome to the channel. I've got something shocking to show you today that happened with some of my canned foods. And I have had this happen several times in the past, and I'm sure it will not be the last time. And I'm also going to show you a method of preserving foods that I like a little better than canning. Let's talk about it. Okay, first things first, you all need to keep an eye constantly, continuously on your food stores. All types of them. It does not matter what they are. Dehydrated, canned, frozen, freeze-dried, whatever. That's just good practice and good food safety management. Hey, before I show you what happened to some of our canned foods, I want to clear something up about the myth of food expiration dates. Because some of you are going to think it's relative to my situation, and it is totally not. Now, I know all of us have seen these before. They are printed on all of the food that we buy. These best by dates or expiration dates or use by dates, whatever you want to call them, they are not set by the FDA. There's only one product in the store that the FDA requires to have a date like this on, and that is baby formula. No can is required to have this. No expires on, no sells by, no best by, no use by, nothing. Only the date of manufacturing and the facility that it was manufactured in. The manufacturers of these products voluntarily put these on the packaging. All these dates refer to is the date in which the food product is expected to maintain its best quality in terms of flavor and texture. But it is not an expiration date, and a lot of people get that wrong. The food in here is still good, and it's more than likely good for a very long time after that date printed on the can. Though, to be clear, for fresh meat, poultry, fish, dairy, and egg products, the jurisdiction for those falls under the FSIS, or Food Safety and Inspection Service. It's a division of the USDA. They have very specific rules for meat, dairy, and all the things that I mentioned. But those are still voluntarily added to the food product packages. But the agreements between the stores and the manufacturers with the FSIS indicate that those have to be labeled in a truthful manner. It's got to have a calendar date that must express both the month and the day of manufacturing of that month. And in some cases with frozen products, the year has to be displayed. And it also must contain that best if used by phrase. Now, you should take these points into consideration as well and label your own food that you can at home. That's also just good practice, and it doesn't only cover canned foods, it might cover things that you freeze dry as well. Okay, I'm about to show you what happened with some of our canned foods, and this has happened numerous times to me in the past, and you need to keep an eye on them. I'm also going to briefly talk about the method that I prefer over buying canned foods or canning them myself. Well, I just told you that these do last well beyond these dates that are printed on the can that are somewhat arbitrary. But if a can looks like this, stay away from it. If it looks like this, do not eat it. And if it looks like this, throw it away. Corroded, bulged, leaking cans, get rid of them immediately. Again, remember, as long as the can is not ruptured, then the food should be safe to eat pretty much indefinitely per the USDA. It's probably not going to taste good if it's too old, and the nutritional content is going to plummet because of the enzymatic process that's going on in the can continuously, but it's food. But here, I want you to take a look at our cans that I recently pulled off this shelf. Okay, these are 2 cans of peaches. They are both the Great Value brand from Walmart. They both have best if used by dates on them of September 1, 2023. So these are about 3 years past their date. This one here, the reason it's on the plate is because the seal broke and it is leaking out everywhere. This one over here is about ready to lose its seal also. You can tell by the top being completely bulged up. So that means something happened to the food in here, something happened to the can to cause this issue, and both of these have botulism in them. I need to get rid of these. You don't want to eat them at all. You'll get very sick. Even though botulism is super rare, and you should keep your eye out for it, and your nose out for it, and your common sense out for it, some people still do get it. Maybe about 200 to 250 people per year in the United States. So let me tell you why this happens, and hopefully many of us can avoid it. But like I said, this has happened to me in the past. And keeping an eye on our pantry stores is super important. I saw the liquid coming out of the top of this one and pooling near the bottom. And if you can also see it, there is some mold growing on the exterior of this can under the label because it has been wet. So why does this happen? Well, there are 4 very specific reasons why, and they're all somewhat related to each other. Obviously, the first one is improper sealing of the cans. Now, these were probably manufactured in 2021, maybe 2020. There could be some sort of damage to the can which breaks the seal of the can. There could be a reaction of the food inside to the actual metal of the can. And what would happen there is the interior liner of the can was damaged and the food is coming in contact with that metal. What that's doing is producing hydrogen gas, which is actually pushing up on the can, and that will eventually break the seal. And the last one is that they are stored at an improper temperature, a temperature that is just too high. Everything should be stored at about 75 degrees Fahrenheit. But let me know in the comments section how many times this has happened to you from store-bought cans or something you've done yourself. This does happen much more often with things that have a higher acidity, like tomatoes or fruits. But things that have a lower pH, like beans, it really doesn't happen too often with those. Now you're thinking, how does that happen inside these cans? I thought that there's some special seal. Well, these do have a coating on the inside of the can. Some are non-BPA acrylic, some are some sort of polymer, some are tinned on the inside, but then also still coated. Sometimes it's a PVC-based resin, although they did get rid of the BPA in them. But that means something is happening with the quality of the cans that are being used. They're damaged on the inside. These are from the same lot, so maybe these were sealed incorrectly, but that food is reacting on the inside with the metal. We can see that here. Can we still trust things like this coming in cans? Or are the manufacturers of these cans cutting corners? Or are the companies sealing these when they are processing the food? Are they cutting corners? Because this happens maybe more often than you think. Let me show you a method that I prefer over buying cans like this or canning them myself. And that's freeze drying. I've had this for years, I use it all the time, and we save a lot of food. I also buy fresh foods from the grocery store and freeze dry them, like organic apples, bananas, etc. This helps me to save my harvests and my leftovers. So my food waste is really low. The reason I prefer freeze drying is 1, the food in it retains almost all of its nutrient content. I think it's between 96 and 98% in most cases. 2, it's light as a feather. This is about 15 servings of pasta sauce. This is 2 servings of beans. This weighs less than this. That's extremely helpful for storage, and you can store it just absolutely anywhere. Of course, within reason, and you also need to have a good ambient temperature to store these in also. And another big reason, these aren't susceptible to botulism because all the water has been removed. So unless this bag has been punctured and moisture has gotten back in there, you don't have to worry about it. That peace of mind is awesome. If you're interested in getting one of these, I have a link for it in the description below the video. I've got many videos on how to freeze dry foods and some troubleshooting ideas for some of these machines. So go down there and check out that link, and also go to our freeze drying playlist. Another huge positive with freeze drying is that it retains its flavor. So if you've got a 10-year-old can of whatever, it could not taste very good and its nutrient content could be severely degraded. That's not going to happen with freeze drying. We hope this information has been helpful for you to dispel some myths and to show you what can happen. If you have any questions, please leave them for me in the comment section below. Now go check out this video right here, which talks about the 14 things you should have in your prepper pantry. Have a beautiful, blessed day. We'll see you next time. Bye.